With Brilliant Lady launching in the second half of 2025 and promising changes to the iconic Virgin Voyages Scarlet Night, there's no better time than to bring you all the advice from VVinsider.com about how to have the best Scarlet Night possible on your Virgin voyage. I'm David from VV Insider, and I'm here to share some invaluable tips about how to celebrate Scarlet Night, including ideas for what you can wear and some fantastic tips on how to make sure you don't miss a thing during Scarlet Night on your Virgin voyage. VV Insider is the #1 resource for the latest Virgin Voyages info, guides and news. From picking the perfect cabin to booking dining, or simply just making the most of your voyage and saving money while you do it, VVinsider.com has helped thousands of sailors around the world sail smarter. Support our work by hitting subscribe and stick around to hear how you can get exclusive perks by booking directly with us. So the first question to ask is, will there be a Scarlet Night on your sailing? And the answer to that is yes. Unless you're on a very specific sailing or a charter voyage that wouldn't include a Scarlet Night, there will always be a Scarlet Night on your voyage. And for those that haven't sailed with Virgin Voyages before, it can be a little bit confusing. You've probably seen a lot of social media content, a lot of videos about what Scarlet Night is, and you might have seen wild, lavish pool parties with people jumping in the pool and going crazy. And yes, that is of course part of the fun of Scarlet Night, but that is not it. Scarlet Night is an event that spans hours and happens across the whole ship, so there is so much to see and do. It is more than just one wild pool party. And I say that to make sure that those that think that it's just a wild pool party and are put off by the idea, actually, even if you take your vacations at a little bit of a slower pace, there is still a lot in Scarlet Night for you to see. And I want to talk you through all the different options and all the experiences that you can see on board during Scarlet Night. So first things first, what is Scarlet Night? Scarlet Night really is Virgin's answer to those themed dressy-uppy nights that you might find on other cruise lines. So most cruise lines, especially the cruise lines in the old guard, have something like a glam night, a glitzy night, or a formal night, where all the guests are encouraged to dress up to the nines for dinner. Now, we all know by now Virgin Voyages is different, and in this regard, they are very different indeed. There is absolutely no expectation on Virgin Voyages for you to dress up very, very fancy. And this is welcome news for a lot of sailors that think the idea of dressing up in formal wear to go to dinner is a little bit outdated. On Virgin Voyages, for the entirety of your sailing, as well as Scarlet Night, you're not required to wear a button-up shirt or trousers. You can come as you are. As long as you're dressed appropriately and within the rules, you can wear whatever you like for dinner, you can wear whatever you like for going to parties, nobody will judge you. If you want to show up somewhere in t-shirt and shorts, you're very welcome to do that. And really, the same goes on Scarlet Night. Now, of course, there is one stipulation for Scarlet Night, and you are encouraged to participate in this, but it certainly is not strictly enforced. You will not be asked to leave a venue, or you will not be told off if you're not dressed to the theme. But you will probably look like one of the odd ones out, because most sailors in our experience do go along with the Scarlet Night vibes, and that of course is to wear red. That is the only rule, the only guidance that they give you, and really the beauty of that means that you can really let your imagination go wild. There are no hard and fast rules of how you execute your red outfit. So if you see something you like, if it happens to be red and you want to wear it on Scarlet Night, you certainly can do that. And that can be as plain as you like. So if you just want to find a red t-shirt and red shorts, then of course feel free. But if you do want to go a little bit more wild or a little bit more fancy, you can do that as well. So in our experience on Scarlet Night, we've seen the whole spectrum. From those that simply just want to wear a red shirt and black trousers, that's fine. But we've seen everything up to huge inflatable costumes in the shape of a red lobster. We've seen red buccaneering pirates. We've seen glitzy red floor-length ball gowns with matching opera gloves. We've seen dazzling all glitter red outfits. People bring electronics and LED lights into what they wear on board as well. This is really your chance to shine, and it is, just like the rest of your Virgin voyage, a judgment-free zone. You can decide to dress up or you can decide to dress down. Whatever feels comfortable and right to you, you're very welcome to do that. If you're still unsure on what to wear on board during Scarlet Night, one really good place to start is your Facebook group for your sailing. If you can't find your Facebook group for your sailing, look on VVinsider.com. We have a list of Facebook groups for you to find on there. But that's where you can ask your fellow sailors for inspiration. What are you wearing on Scarlet Night? Put the question out there and see what others in the group say. Now it's about time I got ready for Scarlet Night to tell you about what happens in the rest of the evening. So I'm going to show you what I wear for Scarlet Night, and there's a few tips in here, so listen closely. So first of all, let's build it up. I just start with this plain white t-shirt, keeping it easy and keeping it comfortable. And then over the top, I found on sale this fantastic bright red denim jacket. This is one of my tips to start with. If you're looking for a Scarlet Night outfit, try and build it in layers. Different venues on board the ship are in different temperatures. You may find yourself outdoors. Some events happen actually on the dock, for example. And of course, there is an event that happens at the pool deck, which I'll tell you about in just a moment. But having the options on Scarlet Night is really, really useful. Layers, of course, might not really go with your outfit. You'll have to decide for yourself whether it's worth going for layers or not. So here we are with it on. This could be a little bit warm for the temperature on the ship, especially because some of the events on Scarlet Night actually are very, very popular. So there will be lots of people gathered around in one area. But I like to just roll the sleeves up, which helps keep you cooler in those busier events. Now that's looking good. I've had a few compliments over our last few sailings about my red denim jacket, so it's a keeper. I'm going to keep it as part of my outfit. But to make things a little bit more interesting, what I like to do, and this is my next tip, is to accessorize a little bit. And this is where the confidence of Scarlet Night comes in, because the accessories I'm going to show you, I generally wouldn't wear them around my hometown, for example. But when you're on the ship, the Scarlet Night vibes really give you the confidence to go out and really go for it. So my advice here is to find a few red accessories and just pop them in your case and see whether you feel comfortable enough wearing them while you voyage. It's at least nice to have the option. So a couple of red accessories I like to take with me. I have this red handkerchief, which I can do a lot with. I can tuck it in my pocket or I can hang it from my jeans. It's very versatile. And then again, this is something that I found on sale, but this is a must-have when I'm voyaging. It's one of my favorite Scarlet Night things. And that is this really cool baseball cap with devil horns. It's red, it's silly, it's funky. It's a conversation starter, which is a really good thing on Scarlet Night because there are so many people having such a great time. It's a really nice chance to dance with people and have a drink with people. So I'll just quickly fix my hair. And there we are. That's my Scarlet Night outfit ready to rock and roll. Again, looking at myself right now, I do feel silly. I'm at home recording this video. But when you're on board and everyone's having a great time on Scarlet Night, this will not look strange at all. Okay, so we're ready for Scarlet Night. One question would be, when do you actually get into your Scarlet Night getup? This is a bit of an age-old question, and really it depends on when you're dining on Scarlet Night. Make sure you're dining a little bit earlier on Scarlet Night because you want to make sure that you're out and about, ready to enjoy all of the events on board. So what I would recommend, if you are dining a little bit earlier, it's unlikely that the ship has went into full Scarlet mode by then. So you might not notice too many people wearing their red outfits for dinner. You will certainly see a few, but you probably want to get changed after dinner. One thing I will say with dining, there's a little bit of advice there, which is to dine earlier on Scarlet Night. But this actually might be a really good night if you want to have one of those off nights where instead of booking dining at one of the formal restaurants, maybe you want to just grab something from Pizza Place, or you can go up to the galley, which is the food court style area, and not actually have formal dining plans, but just grab a quick bite to eat and then you can get ready for Scarlet Night and enjoy the night ahead. So now that you're done with dinner, you're getting ready for Scarlet Night. One of the first things that you will notice is that you'll start to see the bartenders and some of the serving staff around the ship start to get into their red outfits. That will be the first indication that the party is about to get started. Then around about 6:30, 7 o'clock, all the lights in the corridors where the cabins are will all turn from their white-blue normal color to bright scarlet red. So the whole ship will turn red at this point. In some areas it's more pronounced, in some areas less so, but this will be coupled up with some of the extra red theming that you'll see around the ship as well. So you might see some inflatable fish in some of the areas of the ship near the social club, for example. You'll also see that the roundabout has been transformed. If you happen across the pool deck at some point, you'll see they've already started to inflate this huge inflatable octopus, which represents the Octopus Goddess, which I'll come on to in just a moment. Some of the first scheduled events kick off at around about 8 o'clock. And this is in the form of some of the happenings cast taking you through the lore of Scarlet Night. There is this story that permeates Scarlet Night, a reason why we're all celebrating red on this voyage. And it's all to do with a love story between the Octopus Goddess, a love-struck sailor, and how that relates to the moon. I don't want to spoil the whole story for you here because part of the fun of Scarlet Night is to try and piece it all together because you're told different things about this story from different people. So once you've had your first introduction to the Scarlet Night story from the Happenings cast, they will then disappear, ready to get things kicked off at 9 o'clock. So you'll start to see people congregating around the roundabout, which is the atrium style area on the ship. You can arrive to the atrium area early if you'd like a better view of what goes on. But even if you're behind, you're not going to miss much because the action will happen all around you. During this kickoff event, the dancers and the Happenings cast will come out and really introduce you to Scarlet Night by dancing to some lively songs. And this is the first time you'll hear the Scarlet Night anthem that you're going to hear a few times throughout the night. It's a really fun pop song, and there's a dance routine that goes along with it, and it's a really fun way to punctuate the evening with reprises of the Scarlet Night song. So after this big kickoff event in the atrium, that is when all the activations around the rest of the ship will start to kick off. And what I mean by activations are small little dance routines, stories being told by the Happenings cast, aerialists and acrobatics, and some really fun ship-specific things that are really worth watching out for. This is where I really encourage you to walk around the ship and try to find some of these little activations. Some of these are on a really set schedule, so they happen every 15 minutes, for example, but some of them you do have to look a little bit closer for. So if you see some of the cast walking around with their name badges on, maybe holding a glass of fizz, might be worth striking up a conversation with them, because you never know, they might be attached to some activation that's invite only, or maybe some sort of secret show that they want to show you as well. So well worth looking out and making conversation with those people. Again, I don't want to spoil any of the fun here by telling you what happens, but it's worth looking out for, I promise you. One really cool thing that happens around the roundabout is that the chart table will be transformed, and there will be a net hanging with a few nautical things around it. And there'll be a Happenings cast member stood near it, and they'll invite you to write your Scarlet Night secrets on a piece of paper and hang it on the net. So this net, by the end of the night, will have collected a lot of other sailors' secrets. So it's always really fun to visit the net and have a read through all the different secrets that people have attached to the net. Some of them might be really fun, some of them might be really cheeky. It's always good for a laugh. One thing that is completely unmissable during this time is the Octopus Garden, which is a private style show that happens in the Red Room. So this is where the Octopus Goddess is really going to introduce herself. The Octopus Goddess might look a little bit familiar because she is played by none other than the hostess on board your voyage. So if you've been to any of her events before, for example, her cabaret set or Love, Love, Love with the hostess, or maybe you've seen her in a trivia, she will be dressed up beautifully for Scarlet Night as the Octopus Goddess. A wonderful red flowing dress, and normally she has some fantastic crown or headwear, and she has a really beautiful set of love songs which are dedicated to her sailor, and she tells you about how her love with the sailor relates to the moon. It's a really gorgeous event, and it's a fantastic opportunity for the hostess to really show her vocal abilities. It's unmissable. It's always one of my favorite parts of Scarlet Night. Now, just as a quick aside before we move on to the pool party, I just want to mention something very, very exclusive, and I'll not give too much away, but there is something called the Tentacle Tour. The Tentacle Tour is a very exclusive and invite-only tour of Scarlet Night that takes you around all the sounds and sights of Scarlet Night, but also some extra private entertainment that I can't tell you about. But if you are lucky enough to be invited to the Tentacle Tour, and Virgin Voyages keeps the reason people are invited under wraps, so I can't help you, I'm afraid. I don't even know myself. But if you are lucky enough to be invited to this Tentacle Tour, do not skip it. Make sure you go on to that, and they will not let you miss anything with Scarlet Night. You'll see the whole lot, including the Octopus Garden, which is where it finishes up. And then for those on the Tentacle Tour and everyone else, as soon as the last show of the Octopus Garden has gone ahead, that is where everyone will be invited to move up to the pool deck. One thing I will say, before you head up to the pool area, now is the time, if you need to change into something that you're happy getting wet in, if you intend to be anywhere near the pool. So use this time to dart back to your cabin. You might want to put sandals or slides on at this point. Before I even mention the pool party, it is not mandatory for you to go into the pool or get wet at all. If you want to join the pool party, you can always just join the party from around the sides if you want to. So this is where those social media videos of Scarlet Night that you might have seen, people jumping in the pool, going crazy, this is where it all takes place, at the pool party. And here's how it works. Everyone will be invited to go up to the pool area. At this point, you're not jumping in the pool, you're standing around the side of the pool area because there will be a cool entertainment and dance show provided by the dancers and acrobats on board. They will dance to some music to get the party started, and there will be a toast made to Scarlet Night from the Master of Ceremonies up on deck 16. So it's worth saying you can stand on deck 15 or 16 during the pool party. If you prefer to just stand back and watch everything take place from afar, deck 16 is great because you're able to stand around the barriers and watch things as they happen. Or if you'd prefer to be in the action, you can stand on deck 15, and that's of course closer to the pool. That's where everything's going to be a little bit more lively. So once the dancers have been out a while, they will then be joined by the Happenings cast. The Happenings cast will come out, they will join in the dance, and this is where the Octopus Goddess will make her return. The Octopus Goddess will come out and sing that Scarlet Night anthem that we mentioned earlier, but this time she's joined by the dancers and the acrobats and the Happenings cast, and they're joining in with the dance routine as she's singing the Scarlet Night song. This is a really fantastic moment and something that's really memorable from every Scarlet Night that you've been to. Once the Octopus Goddess is done, that is where we're invited to join the celebrations. So there'll be a bit more dancing by the dancers, but crucially, some of them will make their way into the pool. They're going to start splashing around. So if you're on deck 15 and you're standing around the pool, this is the part when you're going to start getting a little bit wet, so do watch out. So once the dancers have finished their routine, they will invite those around the edge of the pool to start joining in the fun celebrations in the pool. Now, as I said earlier, this is not mandatory. If you're standing there and you're being invited into the pool, you're very entitled to say no. It's not a problem at all. Now, such is the effect of Scarlet Night that people will feel duty-bound to want to dive into the pool or cannonball into the pool or do something silly like this. Most jumping into the pool is against the safety regulations on board, so there are security around the pool which will rightly try and stop you from doing this. So make sure if you do intend to get into the pool that you do it in a safe way. That's very important because you don't want your night ruined by getting kicked out of the pool party if you've been acting inappropriately. And also, it's not very nice for the people around you to get wet when they don't want to, so try and be respectful of those that are around the side of the pool. There are some people that maybe have had a bit too much to drink that start splashing wildly into people who don't want to get wet. Try not to be those people. So this part of the pool party, when everyone's in the pool, lasts around about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And yes, it does get a little bit wild. The drinks will be flowing. The music will be provided by the resident DJ on board, and it will be fantastic. Around about midnight is when it's time to towel off and get out of the pool after this wild pool party that's taken place. But the fun isn't over. If you still want to keep the party going after the pool party, the Manor will be open and ready for you to party in there. And it will generally last until the early hours. They try and keep any of the Manor parties open until the last few people are dancing and ordering from the bar. So as long as there are people there, it will stay open. It does of course vary. If you're on one of the busier sailings, it could last all the way up until about 4:30 in the morning. If it's a little bit quieter, they might decide to close things earlier instead. So that will be the end to your Scarlet Night. I'm sure it'll be a night that you will not forget, but I'm just going to leave you with 5 top Scarlet Night tips to make absolutely sure you have the best Scarlet Night possible every single time. Tip number 1 is to dress for success. That includes accessories, layers, but also, crucially, make sure if you do want to get wet in the pool party, you have something to wear there. Doesn't actually need to be red, just don't get anything wet that you don't want to. This red denim jacket, for example, I would not want it to get wet at all. I certainly would not be going into the pool with it because it would be extremely heavy and it would never get dry by the time you get off the ship. So just think ahead. Tip number 2 is to make sure you arrive to those Scarlet Night events with plenty of time. Because most of the Scarlet Night events aren't ticketed and you certainly don't have reserved seating, if you don't want to miss out and you want to make sure that you hear everything that the cast members are saying, make sure you sit up front, and that generally involves making sure you arrive early. Tip number 3 is to be on discovery mode. And what I mean by that is you will get the most out of Scarlet Night if you go and explore the ship. This is a ship-wide party. And in order to make the most of it, you're going to have to go out and find the activations that happen around the ship. Also, be sociable with those cast members that you see wandering around, because it could be the key to finding some really fun and secret entertainment on board the ship as well. Tip number 4 is actually on the day of Scarlet Night itself, Scarlet Night will generally be set on a sea day, if the itinerary allows, that is. And this gives you a really good opportunity to have a good lie-in before Scarlet Night. You want to make sure that you're hydrated and fueled up, ready to go for Scarlet Night, because you might be out fairly late compared to the other nights on the voyage. So actually, it's a really good opportunity to have a lie-in and maybe start your day off a little bit later on the Scarlet Night day, so that you don't feel exhausted by the end of the night once you've done all the activations and the fun celebrations. And finally, tip number 5 is just to relax and have fun. Now, because you're watching a video from VV Insider, that obviously means that you're a planner at heart. You like to know everything before you go into things. And I'm sorry if some of this video I've been saying, find out for yourself, discover, but that is exactly how you should approach Scarlet Night. The whole idea is to just relax and have fun. Feel free and have the confidence to go out there wearing something silly like I am. Meet new people, meet new friends, and just have a blast. Scarlet Night is not taken too seriously at all. It is just a party after all. So just really, really have fun with it. Now here's another bonus tip, and this might be a little strange one for Scarlet Night. But actually, you might be one of these people that looks at the idea of Scarlet Night and everything that I've just explained and think, oh my goodness, that sounds atrocious. I don't want any part of it. In which case, that's fine. You don't have to participate if you don't want to. And actually, Virgin Voyages are very aware of this, and they make provisions to allow you to do something else on Scarlet Night if you prefer. So for example, on Resilient Lady, they often run the Another Rose event on Scarlet Night in the Manor. So if you'd prefer, instead of going to see the Scarlet Night celebrations kick off, you'd actually prefer a dinner event and a show instead, you can do Another Rose. But on all of the ships, if you'd prefer to just relax in the spa, the Redemption Spa offer an event called the Spa Soiree. And we've got information about what's available in the Redemption Spa on vvinsider.com. So that's everything you need to know about Scarlet Night on board Virgin Voyages. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to the channel for more guides like this. If you are planning a Virgin voyage and you'd like to support the work that we do, including bringing you all the latest news and guides, then do consider booking your next Virgin voyage through vvinsider.com. We have all the information that you'll need, including making sure you get the best price and getting you onboard credit and bar tab that you're entitled to as well. I really hope you have a fantastic Scarlet Night on your Virgin voyage. Thank you for tuning in and happy sailing.